Good morning. This is Angela with today's Cup of Tea. I love the topics that come in during the holidays because they are actually topics great for the rest of the year, but it seems to be we're more open to them and more in processing this kind of stuff. So this one in particular is really important. It has to do with presence and being in the now and being right here in the moment and releasing our connection, our ties, our projections to the future and in the past. There are so many things that are attached to that sort of stems from. So again, this is another topic that I'm sure will come up another day and another facet of it, because there's far more than I can talk about in 10 minutes. But what's key is enjoying and being fully in the moment right here, right now. Because so many times we make decisions on what we're doing right now based on things that have happened in the past, things that have happened in the future. And look at that, how that relates so much to what I've talked about with the ego, and how the ego is sort of like that pawn on the playing game board that can only see the space in front of it, the space behind it, or the spaces around it, the other pawns around it, and what's been going on with them. And then it makes its decisions based on that. That's what we're doing, right? We're projecting the future, we're looking at the past, and then we're making decisions in the now based on all that. However, many times that's not for our highest and best good, and many times that is not what really what we should be looking at from the higher perspective. Sometimes we come to a point where we have gone through a zillion lifetimes, or maybe not a zillion, but you know what I mean. And we've gone through all these lessons. We've gone through, say, one particular lesson again and again and again. And there's a part of us that, even though we don't consciously remember it, there is a part of us in the cells, typically, the cellular level and the genetic level, that does remember certain things happening. And we can talk about that till the cows come home if you want to talk about all that stuff with past lives and whether or not that happens or whatever. But how do things happen to us genetically? They've happened to us over and over again, and then they get embedded into our genetic code. That's the same kind of idea. So what happens then is the ego, at some level, is looking at what the energy in a certain particular cells, this genome is or whatever, and it says, well, we're going to do this because if we don't do this, then it's going to set this off again. Or we're afraid of the hurt. Well, here's the thing. Karmically, if you want to use the word karmically, universally, if we have yet to learn the lesson from a specific event, then it will continue to happen in one form or another. We will continue to manifest it until we learn the lesson, process it, and then release it. So here's the thing. Yes, I totally stand by the quote. I think it's Albert Einstein, that the definition of insanity is doing things the same way you've always done them and expecting different results. That is key. Doing things the same way, meaning you don't process the lesson. You don't process what you learn from it so that you can do it a little differently. However, when we're ready to release it and it comes up again, we can say, okay, I'm going to do this way, and I'm going to release the karmic attachment to this. I'm going to process the lesson and then be able to let it go. That's a really big change, even though it sounds like a really little change. It sounds really weird. But there's a lot of different ways of being able to change what's in the present, to work what's in the present, and without depending on the past, and without projecting into the future and acting right now because of that, and not acting because of something, because of fear and anxiety and rejection, regret, resentments, all that kind of stuff, because of either or. So what does that have to do with the holidays? Well, it seems to be that this time of year we are so much more in the present in many ways. We and present, love it, presents. But we tend to, spend more time with people we love. We tend to stop and think about what's in our hearts so much more. We slow down a bit and we stop rushing from the one thing to the next thing, and not stopping to smell the roses, not stopping to sip the nectar of life. And that's a big lesson for us, because there's so many Eckhart Tolle, and any number of other, gurus that are out there that talk about all this stuff, but it all comes down to living in the moment and realizing that all there is this moment. So my guides have in the past come back and told me, come to me multiple times and said, remember to be the calm in the storm. Remember to be the peace in the storm. And I think I've talked about this in past webcasts. And we're in the storm. People ask, well, what's the storm? Well, here we are, and what's going on? We are going through all these changes right now. And in these changes, we're energetically changing, and physically changing, and mentally, emotionally changing. And as we do that, we're shedding stuff that doesn't serve us. We're shedding stuff that does not serve us in our old form, our old habits, in the way we always did things. So it's coming up again so that we can finally release it. We can say, I'm going to process this differently. I'm going to learn this lesson. I am not going to have to do this again. And I thank you. And I'm going to do it without the trauma, drama, and illness. I'm going to do it without creating or recreating a situation. And I want to do it now. I'm going to do this with grace and ease and balance and harmony and joy. And when we truly can believe that we are, as part of the divine, able to do that and able to manifest that, as long as we stay centered and grounded and connected with our higher self, that is the peace in the storm. That is the calm in the storm. And we have all this going on as an individual, as individuals, as well as collectively right now on so many different levels. That would take me days to, really sort of explain it. But so that's the storm. There's all this chaos, so much frenzy going on, and so many things and so many facets around us. And being the calm is truly taking a deep breath, keeping centered, tapping into the heart, to the divinity within us, as well as, our higher selves, and listening that way. Instead of to all the stuff that's just swirling around in front of us, to seeing the stuff that's coming up again for us to release, and saying, okay, higher self, how do I do this? Let's release this with grace and ease now. Let's not have to do this again. So keep that in mind as we move through the holidays and then into the new year. We are tasked with being in the now, being in the present, and stepping outside of time and realizing there is no future or past, that it is all at once. So once we can do that, when we say, well, and essentially it is all right now, we can deal with everything as if it is happening right now. It's sort of like, a high level topic, but the basics are truly just coming into ourselves, just being present within ourselves. So, in essence to that, in connection to that, today we're going to do the clearing on knowing how to be in the present, knowing how to be the calm in the storm. So, if you would like to receive Creator's Truth, understanding, discernment, all that stuff, on what it means to be in the now, to be present, to be the calm in the storm, to release all beliefs that that I must subscribe to the chaos around me. I must become part of the frenzy. Any beliefs related to that, we're going to pull those. We're going to replace those with I am the calm in the storm. I am. All those feelings associated with that you're worthy, deserving, able to, that you are ready, that you are allowed, that it's possible and okay and safe to, that you have that in your life right now, and that you have access to it, and you do access it right now, that you can release all agreements, dissolve, resolve, release, and clear all agreements relating to needing to, feeling the need to, or having to subscribe to panic and chaos and frenzy. Thank all parties involved. Open the doors to apology and forgiveness, all directions. Bring forward any lessons via instantaneous download with conscious understanding, and remove the energy of all those beliefs, all self-limiting thoughts, words, and actions that came from those beliefs, from from feeling like we are without a center, from feeling like we have to be a part of the frenzy and the chaos, pulling out all that energy and memory from the cells, all versions of us, all times, all places, all layers, and closing those receptors absolutely permanently, opening new ones, saturating the cells with Creator's unconditional love in the highest vibration. Clearing, resolving, healing the timelines in all directions to infinity with the violet and platinum flames, writing it off as completed in the Akashic records, providing it to all ancestors and descendants as they so choose to accept. All you need to do for all of that is say, yes, presence. And that is all for today. So have a great week. We'll talk to you later in the week. This is Angela with today's Cup of Tea.